Hello, everybody, and welcome to another writers chat today, where we like to gather and encourage and equip writers in their endeavors in writing, whatever that may be. One of these days, we may come up with a really good punchy intro for that. I cannot think of one off the top of my head, but we're so glad you're here. And today we're going to have a fun interactive writers chat. And so I am going to turn everything over to my fellow co-host here, Brandy Bro, who's going to introduce our special guest and get us started on today's topic.
Hi, it is my pleasure today to welcome our guest, Patricia Tiffany Morris. Let me tell you a little bit about her. Bringing order to creativity and making space for rest, Patricia Tiffany Morris invents geeky ways to wrangle the battling tendencies of our left and right brain endeavors. As an award winning writer and as an illustrator and font designer, she uses mindful planning color to increase her daily productivity. And she is going to talk to us today about mind mapping. And so I'm really excited to hear and see everything that you are going to teach us today, Patricia.
Thank you. Okay, so I want to start. I've a lot of you know me, some of you may not. I love color and I love doing visual mind mapping, but using the combination of all the tools we have as writers is just about the most fun. I think I've decided that I like the process of writing and creating more than I do once something is finished. I just love that. And I'm one of those people that when I write something, I do the deep edits 5 or 6 times on each chapter or each scene because I want to make sure I understand what I've just written and that I don't forget it later. Anyway, so I love doing, and I love knowing the rules, but I break them a lot. So we're going to look first at a PowerPoint that just has some examples. And then we're going to go into my iPad and look at 2 apps that I've used and like. And then we're going to go back to Zoom and just explore a little bit of the whiteboards, mind mapping, brainstorming tools, because they're fabulous. And you can use these in collaborations with other people. And on the free version of Zoom, you can save 3 mind maps at a time. On the paid version, you can do as many as you like. So these are great tools that we can use, whether we use them for our own projects or whether you want to collaborate with somebody else. I am going to share first. The tools in Zoom are always very challenging to move things around, so thanks for your patience. Okay, can you see that screen now?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. So I titled it Mind Mapping Mayhem, a little bit because it's messy with all the colored pencils and tools and all that. When you do the traditional mind mapping, it can get a little unruly when you're using the digital, but it's a lot easier. We can move things around. But using these techniques helps me at least plan better. And it's probably because I'm a little bit more of a visual processor. I'm going to put the Zoom people out of the way. There we go. And there are various maps. Two apps that I'm going to show you on the iPad are Mindly and Simple Mind. And you can make mind maps or lists or visual maps from lists, ideas, writing, just a number of different things. And you can use this to plan anything. These are just some ways to use mind maps. Like you're thinking, why do I have to use that? Why can't I just write it? Well, there's so many different ways that you can come up with ideas for your projects. To do it like a storyboard for Kidlit is one way to organize the writing. And you might have it written, but decide to go in and tweak it because you've laid it out and either there's not enough pages or something's in the wrong order. You can create an outline. You can do random listing, but then try to make order of that list. And then you can use this. I love this to do for a fictional character or a setting. And I'll show you that in one of the apps. And you can literally brainstorm any idea, project, or timeline. And this is what I verbally said to begin with. Here is an example of a traditional mind map. I know this is super, super small. I'm going to show it a little larger later. Mindly Map does these really interesting concentric circles and overlaps in this fun way, and the animation is delightful. Simple Mind is a little more like your traditional look. This is the closer view of, and if you want to make this a little bigger as you're watching it today, you can click the highlight or pin, or what's the term in Zoom, to make the screen sharing the main thing. Maybe Brandy could help that term. When you highlight over this, is this large enough? Do you all see full screen?
Yeah, I'm actually not sure what you're talking about.
It's like highlighting the screen sharing.
Yeah, well, you can just set the view to side-by-side gallery, and you can
There you
drag the window
Yes.
so that what she's sharing is bigger and the people are smaller.
Yes, I didn't know what that, like the actual name of that tool is, but that's perfect.
Yep, that's up in the view. There's a little view option. I'm not sure about mobile, but fiddle around on mobile to see, look for the view option.
Yeah,
Kathy had a comment too there that you can check a look in the chat.
Yeah, she was gonna mention what I was gonna say about you can
there it is
enter
on the
or
bottom
exit
of view,
full screen.
There you go. There you go.
A feature I never use, obviously.
So here is an idea where I use colored pencils. I have a series of journals that I created, and the titles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 around the circle were my idea of putting a number based on what type of book I wanted to create. And these are writer resources, creative, for creators or artists or writers. And so I would just take off and I'd just start writing. There wasn't an original thought of what I wanted to do. I just wanted to see how maybe can I use collaboration. Well, then I thought the poetry book I might be able to do, and that's actually published. Rachel Colby has a couple poems in that particular book. I wanted to know which social media I might do, and so I just, at the very top, list all. So a larger sheet of paper, can extend those. What about videos? So I thought, well, I could do a trailer, a promo, an author club, or combination of interviews. And PJ Net hosted me a couple years ago. It's been about 4 years ago now. And then how would I put it on my website? I could do giveaways, all the things that you think of for launches. And then I have marketing kind of over on the top left. I don't know if you can you all see my mouse? Yes. As I move along. So in this area right up in here. So I'll jump to the Mindly map. This is a closer view of this, and this one we're going to see in action. That's my favorite digital tool. Simple Mind's a little more traditional. Here's one template that's like your SMART goals that you talk about. And you can, instead of having this time bound, you might then make your nodes here in the blue, and you might put what those time bound goals are. It could be for one goal, or you could put several along each side there. Simple Mind and Mindly both have a pro version, and just because it has all the bells and whistles and the color and all those extra things, I love that. And it's, each of them are around $10. One's a little bit less. And these are just some samples. I'll show those a little closer when we do the direct sharing with that app. But you can see the wide variety. I think a lot of you probably heard of SWOT. A week planner, a timeline. Here's your traditional mind map, and they have some relationship charts. This is called a organogram, but it's like a relationship or a genealogy chart. But you could also do it for projects to do and the steps for each project. Here are some style sheets, some ways you put your mind map together. You go in there and just change it with a click to look how you like it with all those Thanks. My hubby is bringing me some hot tea. Okay, this is the whiteboard in Zoom. I haven't played much with this, but for our ACFW Kidlit contest coming up this summer, it'll be our second year. We're starting to use this to collaborate between 3 or 4 different people, and it's very fun. And somebody can add things, they can take things out. So you have versions that you want to save, but it's really, really excellent. And I'm just going to go through this real quick now while we have just this screenshot, and it's a little bit larger. To do any sort of activity within the mind map, over here on the right, this is a right click with your mouse or your trackpad, and this menu comes up. So if you want to add a sticky note, if you want to add text or a shape, and these are all made with shapes. This down here is part of my PowerPoint. It kind of looks like it's part of the Zoom, but it's not. And then you can add a card, and a card is just like a title, and then a comment. On each one of these, there's a little dot that you can click on, and you can add a comment that doesn't show up when you are viewing the big mind map, and it'll help keep it just a little bit more under control if you add comments rather than everything in a shape. And then there's, like, you'll see a grid behind here, but I love the, you can snap to the grid. You can see they're not on the grid, but I like the, I'm not sure, it's not in this setting. There's another place where you can do dots. So you could do like that bullet journal type as well. So you've got a grid or a dot background, and you can change the background color. So this is Zoom's whiteboard. Traditional paper and writing tools, probably my favorite. You can use markers, you can use colored pencils. I have these minimalism art bullet journals, and I've got blank ones, grid and dots and lined, and they work great for collecting and keeping your ideas. And here is, I'm going to stop after this and see if there's any questions. This is another idea. If you have a website, or you're thinking about what to do with a website, but you don't know how all the pieces and parts might connect, this was my original setting up my website. I wanted to have future ideas under construction page that wasn't visible. I wanted to have my series for fiction and have it connect my characters in the fiction piece, the world design, and I wanted all of this to be where I might offer a free chapter. This was when I first started. I was very enthusiastic and optimistic, and I was going to get this book done in a year. And so it's 5 years later. So this part of my website is not yet done, but it's sitting there as an under construction. The rest of it is, I had to research domain names. I had to have a landing page. I didn't even know what that was. And I learned how to make websites with WordPress, the free version, way back. But it had been maybe 10 years since I jumped in, and everything had changed. I knew I wanted an about page, and you can just see you make little comments, doesn't matter how it looks. This is the messy part of this. I love it, but then making order out of this mess. I'm looking at all of these bits and pieces, and I had an art business that was local with, I would go to craft shows, and we'd have to have a sign, and we'd have to have all of these pieces and parts. That now is gone to one store with digital art. And then the writing, these were my kind of separate blogs that I set up. And if I would have had somebody looking at this and did a collaboration, I probably would have been convinced that I should make one blog or maybe two. And I still have those many, many blogs on my page. So any questions up to this point? I am not able to jump to the chat as easily. So
I haven't seen any questions, but we've had a lot of good conversation about all that you've shown so far.
Great, great. All right, well then I'll just move on.
If I missed one though, put it back in the chat.
Sounds good. Okay, so on the very left, under the title that says working titles, this was somebody else's graphic that I'm sure I got at a conference, and I'd like to find out who owns it. If anybody knows who created this, I would like to give them credit and use this just in sharing with friends that are collecting this kind of an idea. It's got your front matter, your body content, and your back matter, and you can see how they've done this mind map to look at types of things, very similar to the journaling scribbles piece I did, but this in an app looks so much cleaner. And this is a way you can put together all the pieces and parts of your book and make sure that you don't forget any parts. And then you could take this and put this right in Scrivener, organize all the pieces in the right order in Scrivener. The graphic on the right is how I took my words for each page spread I had and tried to say, how do I want the plot, the flow, the story arc to look along the 32 pages. So I just made little sketches based on the words off to the side, and this is imagining what that might be. And that's another way to map out with visual, just thumbnail sketches for what your story might look like. So if you write kids, you write middle grade chapter books, anything like that, you can create a template and just start plopping different ideas. If you don't have them all, you just leave it blank and go on to the next spread. And if you did this and grabbed it into a program, you could take and move these pieces around if you pop it into a digital program. Another idea, this is a program, I think I've spelled that right, Scapple. It's an app by Literature and Latte, which make Scrivener. And this was another version of my journaling scribbles project, and this is launch team ideas. So these were specific journals. These are memes, things I needed to remember about them, what I could do for a trailer. I have somebody create music for me. So it's original music. And then these launch team communications. How am I going to communicate? I popped this over on this section because it kind of went with these and it kind of went with this. So I've straddled over a box for these 3 items. And then record keeping, drawings, you put all of those. Here's my Facebook interactions. And I wanted to know more about the algorithm back when I started, just to understand what Facebook was doing. Over here on the right side is just me playing with the different way the boxes worked, the colors that were available. And I've since learned that I can change colors. And when I first started, I didn't know it was just the colors that were there. But if you, any program you're at, you've got this color wheel right here. You can go in here and in anything you've ever changed in any program is going to show up as little squares. And you can click on that square and use that. Or you can click up here in this section. And if you have a branding colors, each of those colors has a hex code. And that hex code will tell you what that exact color is. And you can even pop that in to your color scheme and have everything on brand. Another map that I found, I'm not sure when I found it, where, but I've got the website here, EADEVERELL.com. There are many genres that she's listed, subgenres, incredible detail. And you'll notice she just started writing country house. These are some things for her fiction that she thought of. Family, what reading of the will and a funeral. So that's going to be in her project. I love that. Who's an investigator? Could be a sidekick, police, detective, private eye. Well, you got the gist here. This could just cover your desk, your wall at home. You just keep going. You could take weather and then decide how many other weather events might I put in here? And that endless paper, digital endless paper is very fun to use. Okay, here's another one that I found online. It's the Bible Project, and they have each book of the Bible, and there's words, there's arrows, there's chapters, and there's just very simple little sketches about the entire book in a 1 page or 2 pages. I don't know if any of them have 2, but it just puts this together in a visual map so that you can just look through all this. And I would imagine this would be a fun coloring project too, but a visual mind map or a mapping of projects is extremely rewarding to do. Choose your project and pop little images in and just make a visual map would be a very intriguing marketing tool for your fiction book or nonfiction. Other things, you just take lists. So I am trying to work on foods that are alkaline. I had no idea on some of these things, but I might use this now to create a mind map with the words alkaline foods, with vegetables off one branch, fruit off another, that kind of thing. And then change it for the ones that I don't like. So watercress greens, I'm not even really sure what that is. Is that a Southern thing? Maybe. And purslane, I think I know what that is. I think it's a weed, but there's a few things that I wouldn't use. So I would just take the things that I know I can buy, I know I've tried before, and I might research and do another leg off of a mind map that says which foods don't I even know what they are, and put those to research. And then you would have a chart that you could color up and put on your fridge for those types of foods. This particular one on the left was a 100-day project, and I collected the hashtags, did a hashtag search for some of these, and then I just mapped out some sketches for graphics for social media. On the next page, I have various webs of what ideas I wanted to do and approximately when, and that just got a little crazy. Here's another idea. This was taking the combination of listing and check boxes with a kind of roadmap for what type of art I was going to start producing, or look at collections, look at what phases, what I needed to do before I did other things. So it's kind of in phase 1, I've got to do these things before I move on to phase 2. And that's another kind of a mind map for how you can just take a boring checklist and look at where you would put things. And when there's one drawing right in between this where I had perhaps website SEO hired on the phase 4. I may have popped that in there before I did anything in phase 2 or 3, because I knew I needed a lot of other things before I hire anybody to do that. And then the researching art people in art companies and pitch emails, phase 5. I know that I can't do that until I get the portfolio done, until I get some more design done. I learn a little more about animation so that I can market it before that. And then I might be ready to pitch. So I would have put those down and then put a main heading on. So this is just another way I am ready to get back to there. I've got several things checked off, and I've got a few more things written in here, and it's probably a 3-year project. Here's another example of taking a sketch ideas of various things. And then on the side over here, you can write, I like, don't like the bird, it's overdone. I like this style of type, not this. And you could start doing your listing and make another sheet, or make another sheet and just say which things you like, which you don't, and create your mind map from the sketches, and then narrow it down to how you're going to choose. How many more I got here? This is scribbling is helpful. Messy is okay. color for me is super, super important because I can see, for example, the book one of a series that I started has a character. This is her point of view. So every time she's there, I have yellow. She's yellow over here, here, and I can see that right away in addition to the name. I do have just crazy odd, like little lines, textures, the 3 dots. This in the middle is a game world within a fictional story. So I popped the little bits and pieces there, and all my extra characters and the police that are not in a huge amount, but are in some. And then I do across the series. For example, let's find one that's larger. Okay, so Giovanni here he is in prison, so he's not maybe in this book much. Here he is, he's not in this, but he's back in the end. And another one, I have different names for people. I like to make things complicated. This will probably never get published. This particular person's name in the game is one thing, and they meet him in real life. So London and Enigma are the same person. So I say when that he's revealed is not till book 3. And then we have him over here in book 4. But doing something like this, don't worry about how it looks. You see all of these lines that dive and dash lines and arrow lines. Just make it as messy as you need just to get down stuff, and you can always redo it. And this is the Zoom whiteboard again. If you look over here at these choices, we talked about these, adding these things. To create the mind nodes, you just click on there and click your shape, and it will pop in and you type your text in. So in a few minutes after I do the iPad version, then we're all gonna see if we can play together and just try some things out. And we're not going to worry about if things get deleted or moved around, but we'll try not to delete each other's thing. So what you'll do is you click in the previous box, and then so you click in this box, there's a little plus sign that shows up, and then this node appears. Then you click in this box to get another plus sign right here, and you click on that plus sign to get these nodes. And you can change the font within here. You can change the font size. You can center, left, or right justify your text. You can add bullets or numbers, and you can make links right within the whiteboard. And this is within Zoom itself. And I think, okay, so I'm done with this part, and I'll close this out. But I just wanted to offer free 30 to 40 minute. I decided to save a little money and not pay Zoom this year. So I have to do it in before that 40 minutes, but just email me. Somebody wants to pop that in the chat. You can email me. This is my business art email below there. And I can do one-to-one. You can have a specific project you just want somebody to chat with, and we can do a brainstorming project, whether it's traditional and we have a phone or whatever we're going to set up, or if you want to do the digital. And I do work for hire, just if somebody has tech type things or creative projects that you'd like to hire me for. I normally charge $35 an hour. If anyone here just remembers to say you saw it here, and it's $25 an hour. But I just wanted to offer that 30 to 40 minutes. If you saw something in here and you wanted to try something and have somebody else's opinion on that, to do a free one-on-one, just email me if you'd like to do that. And I think this is it. Yes. So I'm going to stop sharing here. And then I'm going to go over and any questions here? I am known to go too fast on things. Okay, good.
Once again, I didn't see any questions.
Okay. All right, so little craziness trying to figure stuff out here. Okay, I'm going to show you this one real quick. We're not going to actually do this one, but this is the This is the Simple Mind app. And you can see it's very similar to some of those that I showed you examples of. It's a little bit, I'm going to say clearer, or helps you just a little more than the Zoom whiteboard. It's got this little arrow. You've got here, I added a little icon. This is an icon here. You can add an image. You've got a word wrap tool. I think the other one is automatically word wrapping, so you don't have to worry about that. But it's got all these
I
different.
like that you can add images on this one. That's pretty neat.
I believe most of the apps out there now for mind mapping can do images, and that is just so cool. I love that too. There's if I go to the themes here, there'll be a little bit of a delay. So, okay, here. Let's find. There. I thought that was it. There's your style sheet. What I'm trying to find is the mind map, and maybe I can't be in this one.
And which program is this again?
This is Simple Mind.
Thank you.
Simple Mind Pro. And I am looking for mind map style. No. Thanks for your patience here. Okay, so that one is definitely eluding me right now, and I'm not sure why. I wonder if it's because I'm in one. And the templates should be new mind map. Maybe I have to click. There we go. Like I said, I don't use this very much. I went ahead and bought the paid version, but here is where you could do character bits, and they've got these little round pieces you could put the portraits in for your characters, and or if you had a genealogy set up in a fictional piece, or if you're doing memoir and you've got relationships, you can do that as well. And you can do a separate one and just disassociate it from the group, or write friends. So friends could be over here on this one. And when you tap each node, I'm going to make this bigger. You've got where you can do the text and add your note. I love that. Here's where you can add another piece on. And then here is hide that if you've got a lot of things and you're wanting to put a lot together without all of this extra below showing each one, and you just want to focus on the upper level. And then on the dot, there's here you can add a photo, an icon, you can add a calendar event, add a link, all kinds of stuff. And then there's settings here as well that let you choose all of these things, and it's just marvelous. I'm going to switch now to Mindly. This is just my favorite. So this was me setting up. This is how I set up the talk, or the idea for this chat. I knew I needed to get photographs from the computer. I guess I don't have a pointer on here. So grab photographs from computer. That's one thing I needed to do. Create the PowerPoint. I needed to test out the Zoom boards and then create the demo. So each one of these, and look, you can scroll them around. If you tap on it and then add, you can add things to a group of next steps. So the first thing I wanted to test was the Mindly Pro, and so I bought that. Then that's done. The second one, I bought the Pro Simple Mind, and if I want, and I wanted to get them together, I'm going to move that, and look how just like it's so simple. And if I wanted to put them in order, and it just automatically rearranges those numbers for you. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 in order. And each one of these, let's see, there. I haven't added any more, but you could. See, did I have anything else? In Zoom, I had the templates, the sharing the whiteboard. I had to organize my computer first because I wanted to find specific images to show you. And that was part of the preparation for getting this done. And then I have the ACFW Kidlit contest that I'm going to show you when we jump over to the whiteboard. And then each of these could have, it's just endless. It is just endless what you can do. And I'm going to show you one more. And to move our, so I'm creating a wonky Pride and Prejudice timeline flipped piece. And so I put together one that has the characters, the setting, the timeline, and each one of these has, I'm going to put the different characters, and then I'm going to detail more about each one of those. I don't know that I've got anything in there that I shouldn't share, but each one of those you can see, you can add more details about each of your characters. The settings, same thing. And you just go up there to the top corner and you can see where you're at by this top right, top left, and you can see where you're at. So settings, I've got the different places I need to visualize in my mind what I'm creating. I'm doing time travels. Oh, I have the small town present day, and then I have the high school that's I'm going to put in here. I'm going to have the 1980s high school, and then I need to have the present day high school. And so I'll need to see what are the differences that they might look like years ago, and the high school is still in the town. It is just one of my favorite tools. And then here's the timeline. I want to have those different events that I figure out what happened and if any of those events are important to the story. But this is my favorite tool. So I think that's it there. And now let's figure out how to stop the sharing. That will close the meeting, I think. Well, that's okay.
We lost your audio, Patricia.
If we don't hear you, your audio is off. Maybe your audio was on the other one.
I think so too.
Patricia, can you hear us? Patricia, we do not have any of your audio, so we cannot hear you.
I also have a feeling that she doesn't have our audio.
I think so too. So we put a note on the board. Good. She's on it now. Good to hear. I love seeing all of these options. One of the things we're talking about in the chat is how we have to remember how not to how to keep the main thing, and don't get so lost in all these really cool tools and things that we can do that we forget to actually write and do the other things we got to do. Patricia, are you back?
I am, and I'm so sorry. I'm sitting there talking away, and I forgot my microphone on the main. You know, if you have two devices, the feedback loop is quite interesting. Anyway,
yes, I had a feeling that's what happened. Anyway, glad you're back.
Thank you. So are you all able to see the ACFW Kidlit contest?
Yes.
Yes, the whiteboard's very clear.
Yep.
Okay.
And thank you for putting up the whiteboard, because then we could tell you we couldn't hear you.
Oh dear. And we're recording. Whew.
It all worked out good. It's fine.
It's all good.
See, we
It's
go
all
well
good.
on the fly.
That's good. All right. So ACFW Kidlit contest entries are going to be June, and judging is July. We need loads of judges, and we need a few more category chairs for the different genres. This particular chart, I'm working with the co-coordinators for the contest, and we're looking at who's doing what and which steps need to come first in the whole process. So we're using Zooms, and we can just keep adding bits and pieces on here as we go along. So if you love helping out the writing community, and either as a judge or a category chair, or we've got things like stripping the author information out of entries, changing the file names to make sure they match the codes, all those little sort of technical bits, we need help in that. And right now on the website, I'm gonna, and now I can see the chat. I'm gonna put the link for the website, and you can go there now on the judges page and sign up. And we've created a Google form. It's an automated form. You just fill it out, and it will bring your information into a spreadsheet for us. That will take out a lot of the fuss and the mess and the things that we did last year. So hopefully it'll
Do
be able
people that judged last year need to do this again this year?
Yes.
So you know? Okay.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah. And we've simplified a little bit by connecting the chapter books and the readers together in one category. So there's little bits of changes like that.
Got a question. Does
Yes.
someone need to be an ACFW member in order to help you out with the judging
No.
of the contest?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
Good to
And
know.
if you're looking to enter, June 1st is the open date, and we won't even have anything on the website till probably the 1st of May. So just be patient with us as we're getting this done. Appreciate that. So I'm just showing you this. This is one way you can use this. And you can see up here where it says Susie and Patricia meeting. Susie lost her computer, so she's not been able to get on. She's got her computer yesterday, so we should be able to get back. But you can see when information is added from the other person as well. So we are going to close this. So this will all go away for just a minute. And then I'm going to share the one that we're going to play with. And we have maybe 5-10 minutes. Let's see, that's not what I want. Let's just do a brand new one. Brand new, nothing on it. And you can see that each one of you can right click. You can add a sticky note. You can right click, add a shape. And you can right click, add a card. The card has a little colored line, and you can see here where you can change the color to make it whatever color you like. You can also fill that with the 3 dots. There's a whole bunch more stuff you can do. If you wanted to put this on top of something else, it's like a default right now because I made that after this. So go ahead and just pop some down. We're gonna see, I'm gonna delete that. You can delete them if you didn't like what you did with the right click at the very bottom. So we're gonna put this up here. We're just gonna call this and then what I want everybody to do is just play here. Put in a couple dots. We're all going to be doing it at the same time. So I'm guessing that occasionally, you might be going along here, add a shape, and maybe somebody decides to put a sticky note and you might end up like that. Just move yours away and you'll be able to do your little thing. And if I take 2 fingers on my trackpad, I don't know what it is on a mouse, you can move the map around and it won't affect anybody else. You're moving around the map.
It will be right click on a mouse.
Okay, very good. you're moving this around. So like if I was the person that put this hexagon shape, I could move this into the center of my screen and make it bigger, and it doesn't affect you guys. Now, me moving it, because I shared it, when I do that, it's moving everybody's. So there you go. And just see how this might work for you, either in a collaboration. And see here where it shows those dashed lines, you can connect. And the connections are probably the most important thing. And you can see where you've got nodes here, where you can move them around even to make room. And this one could be up on the, well, you probably wouldn't do that, but that's funny.
Are you able to print this out if you wanted to, or save it
Yes.
off of
Yes.
Zoom?
Yep. You can export it. I need to find where the export is. Export up at the top where it says writers chat personal meeting room. There's page 1 of 1, and you can export it to a PDF, a PNG, like just a picture. Or if you have it all like step 1, 2, 3, and it's all nice and orderly like an outline would be, you can print it in a CVS form, which is a data form in a chart. And once you get that CSV form on your computer, you can open it in Excel and have a spreadsheet. Super, super helpful. And that would be like if you had, you had 1 here and you had 2, and you could start taking your text, and that each one of these will be in a cell in a spreadsheet. And then if you wanted to add pieces down, all of that will be put into that CSV form. Really nice. And we can move pieces out of the way. That's cool. So Brandy just made a comment there. And I don't know, we've got 10 people. I'm gonna jump. Okay, I'm over on the chat. Can the other apps be printed? Yes. I don't know if you remember in the slideshow, Leslie, the Mindly map with those circles. That's where I got that. I exported it as a picture and then I imported it into the PowerPoint. I couldn't see all of it at once very clearly while I'm in the app, but once you export it, it puts the whole thing on one page. Or more pages if it's a lot of data. I think I did print one recently that was 3 pages in a PDF.
Interesting. Sounds like a pretty useful part of Zoom that a lot of people don't know about.
And so right here, this is exactly, you can show the author. I can go in here and go, oh, Melissa wrote that. And I can give Melissa a note to say anything you want. And they don't have to be right with you. But if you're collaborating with somebody on a project, they can each work on their own, and you can come back in here and just hover. Oh, that's funny. Raidkin for spiders. And you can make notes.
Got some questions. We're wondering for the Zoom whiteboard, do you have to be in a meeting to use it, or can you use it just by yourself?
You can use it by yourself if you go to a web browser, or if you open up Zoom and you're just sitting all in yourself. That's what I do a lot, is I'll just open up Zoom. I record myself in Zoom if I want to test what I look like, or if I want to hear what I sound like, or if I am reading poetry and I'm going to make video out of it, I will go in and just videotape little bits. Zoom is perfect for that. It's nice sound. I suppose it depends on your microphone, but then you've got lots of little pieces, and then I can come back to my computer and use a couple video programs and stitch those photos and videos together.
Yep. And the other apps that you showed, are they also able to print and export?
Mindly, I tried that. And the other one I haven't used as much, Simple Mind.
Mhm.
I took a screenshot and made a PNG out of it.
Okay.
So I hadn't actually tried that, but I would imagine that all of those apps were so this it's
I know you can
amazing
with
how it,
Scapple. I have Scapple.
yes,
I've printed out some of my mind maps from Scapple, and one
yes,
thing to keep in mind is if you're printing on one sheet of paper, if your mind map is pretty big, you're going to have some probably really small boxes and small fonts to read if you want to get it all on one page. I'm not sure about the capability to print a mind map across more than one page and then maybe tape your pages together, but that could be a
yes,
possibility as well.
yes. That is absolutely a possibility. And I have used Aeon Timeline, and I've used Timeline Story or Time Story, and they just print it out, and you just have to match up the seams. I
Yep.
have a piece for that series I showed you with that scribbled up mess of 4 books. I have the timeline of, you know, everybody's birth and death and significant events and all of that, and I have it taped together, and it's a little bit longer than my bedroom door and
Yep.
4 feet wide. You just can't. It's like the endless paper digitally. And
Yeah,
you,
that's I was just going to comment on that
yes,
these programs, they all have like this never-ending board that just keeps expanding and expanding upon, depending upon
yes.
where you put your stuff.
One thing I like to do is I don't like real wimpy colors. So I go in here, and if you click this plus sign, you can add your bright, you know, whatever colors you want. And you can also do those, you know, if I wanted to grab, I guess it's got to be on here. You can grab the hex code for those if you wanted to change the colors.
Now, the interesting thing is as you're doing this, I'm not seeing any of the plus signs that you see, but if I interact with the map myself, I can see where the plus signs show up.
So
So
when I'm
this doesn't come
showing you,
across on the share screen. The
oh,
little plus
interesting,
signs don't. Yep.
interesting. So right now I'm hovered over the blue square toward the Greenville, and you don't see those little blue dots.
Nope.
You know, I
Well, we
bet,
see the dots on the main board on the background. But if you're
yes,
hovered over, yeah, we don't see any of we don't see the ones that are on the centered. Like if I click on it, I see
yes.
the dots that end up in like the center of the top, the
You
center
know,
of each wall
I'll
on
bet
the
the
outside.
reason, you know, think of the logic there. I'll bet the reason is if you have 6 people playing with this at the same time,
Mhm.
you wouldn't know which one you're supposed to click on. Oh, look what we've got going down here. This is
Oh, who
great.
did that? Somebody
Let's
got clever.
let's
What
find
are
out.
these things?
See, now I can't.
Kanban board and yeah, okay. All right, what are these? Please tell us. I know what a Kanban board is to do in progress at time. I didn't know that you could put that on a whiteboard in here.
Leslie
That's
did
pretty
it
neat. Leslie did it. What a
playing with
smart
tools.
I was
cookie.
playing in with the tools. If you go down to the ellipses, it says more tools, and then it
Oh,
gives
more
you other,
tools.
which
So
is
it
the cards,
does.
charts,
Kanban, mind map,
codes, mind
actions, a
map.
table,
Hmm.
unsplashed images. You can put in code. So a code block. So if you wanted to type in that. Interesting. A chart.
Asana as a poll quiz. You could quiz people.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. So we have, do you like polls? Yes. One says yes, one says no. Need a larger sampling if that's going to work. Yeah, it's great. And in addition to these kind of things, look at how, you know, it's just, oh, it's so automated. There you go. Wow. That'd actually be really helpful for our group, um, for the contest. If I created one of those, and then who's doing it, have another column that is assigned to, and then the progress. Yeah. And I
It's
like color
really
line.
helpful for the team building when
It
you have a
is.
team working on something.
And I'm going to click this in progress. Let's see, what is it? Oh, Done. Yeah. And then if you change your mind, put it back. Cool.
Interesting.
Mhm.
There's a
And
lot of,
are these icons, these little heart wings?
Yeah,
I'm
that's an
guessing they're from
emoji.
Unsplash.
That's under
Oh,
stickers
those
and
are from,
emojis.
oh, gotcha.
Whoa, that's really
There's a
good.
bunch in there, and you can just, I guess, pick heart, and then it gives you a variety of hearts.
And then there's a nice chart over here.
How did you get the image on there? The images that people are adding. Is that an insert somewhere?
This right here.
Any of the pictures, like Happy Tuesday or the marina
Who
beach.
Well,
added
there's
it?
an Unsplash option. So you can take an image out of Unsplash
Yeah, I did
and
that.
drag
I
it on.
moved it
Yep.
out of, that
Yep.
Unsplash.
Drag it right onto the
And
board from the,
yep. And the Happy Tuesday was in the stickers and emojis section.
oh, okay.
Okay.
Just
Yep.
grabbed it and drug it on there.
So this
Okay.
bar at the left, at the three dots, there's a whole bunch. Now, if you like Asana, if you get the paid version of Zoom, it connects with Asana. And I don't know what Azure and Jira are, or Jira, but I'm guessing they would be mind map or productivity apps as well. But now to directly, okay, you can even put a YouTube video. Look at that. Embed contact. You can have a link to your YouTube video and put that in here as you're working on things. That's cool. But where is the direct? Where's the direct image? Is there a direct image?
If you go into Unsplash too, you can also type in something, type a word, and then it gives you other options than the pictures that are there too.
But if you didn't want to use Unsplash and you just wanted to go click add a photo,
Yeah, I was wondering if you could do that.
did I just change the background color? I think I did.
I did.
Okay. See, there's a little of the mayhem. It's like, wait, did I do that? I don't think I did that. And then you start moving somebody else's piece and they go, wait, I don't want that moved there.
Yes, this could be a fun tug of war on images of sorts.
And you know, if you have a few less people to start with, just to get the hang of it, and have one person directing, you know, like now we're going to do this. Everybody come up with ideas, and you could have people watching, and then below a particular bit, you know, just have
This is great.
line.
So we're at the top of
So
the
this is
hour.
it.
Do you have anything you want to wrap up with?
Nope, this was it. Thank you all for sticking with me here, and appreciate it.
Here, we can
I've
stop the
got,
sharing.
I'm going to just pop back on there. Well, no, I'm not. Did I'm going to put my email in the chat. So if anyone missed that, if you want to play around with any of these tools, just give me a email here. My writer's email is Patricia Tiffany Morris, but this is the one I'm using for when I do share with. So there it is in the chat.
Very good. Thank you. Melissa, do you want to share with what we have coming up next week?
Yes. In fact, next week we're going to have Catherine Lang join us to share about her whiteboard of world domination. So this is kind of like a nice little segue in. She's going to give some
It
fun,
is.
helpful tips on how to minimize the mayhem in your life and to bring some order and to the chaos and to make it fun too. So I think you're really going to enjoy Catherine's presentation next week, and I urge you to come, especially if you struggle with organizing and planning things and getting that structure in your life as a writer. definitely come join us. I think you'll be in for a real treat with Catherine. So thank you, Patricia. This has been fun. I think you may have started some addiction for several people. They'll be getting on Zoom or finding these other fun mind mapping apps and playing away.
And everybody, don't hesitate to jump on Zoom, click record and say, hello, this is, and get used to speaking. So when you get your books ready, you can be a little more confident in doing those speaking. And the greatest thing about that is you can go cut, do that again. Hello, my and just only take the portion that works for you. So
Good idea.
Yeah, great
idea
idea.
indeed.
Well, thank you guys for joining us. For those who are here, please stick around for the after party. For those who are watching the replay, we encourage you to join us live on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern on Zoom. And our replays, you can find the replays to all of our shows on our Writers Chat channel on YouTube. There are quite a few building up this year as we go along, and you can also find a backlog link to over 300 previous episodes from our past Writers Chats on Serious Writers YouTube channel. So again, we're just so glad you're here with us, and we encourage you to join us next time. Thanks again for Patricia and all of you joining us, and we'll catch you next week on Writers Chat. Bye, everyone.